Spelling. Spelling and history. The spelling of Batak is now irregular because each person writes according to the pronunciation customary in his territory. To take the word husus, forgot, as an example in Toba, it is not spelled hus 14, but also hunsus 11, hutsus according to pronunciation, and husus 13. Subtoba, and on the other hand, which phrases on dairy, spells either hukus 14a or hukus 18. The non-Mandarin spelling is huskus Mandarin B1, while the sub-Mandarin spelling is uskus Mandarin B2D. In most MSS, on back the spelling is regular, the word being written in such a form that a person who knows nothing of the pronunciation of Toba can reduce it to his own dialect with little difficulty. A speaker of Mandarin can see from the spelling hus that he has to pronounce it huskus Mandarin B. It is therefore the spelling that has been followed in the dictionary, for had a spelling in accordance with the Toba pronunciation been used, the dictionary would have been of no use to anyone living in Mandarin or Dairi. Hungkam, Hungham 14a, it can be seen that in some cases the etymological spelling has not been followed. Those who know the pronunciation of the different dialects will not have the least difficulty in finding a word in the dictionary in its proper place. Note: the singular pronunciation of Toba casts some doubt on the contention of all Batak-speaking people that Toba is the parent language from which Mandarin and Dairi are derived. Because the pronunciation of these dialects now and then reproduce the spelling of the Bak MSS better does Toba, one may well question that Dairi has been derived from Toba, and may amend the Batak Association as follows. Dairi was originally a sister language spoken by a people who were vanquished by the Toba people and who adopted the script of the conquerors and perhaps the religion as well. That the script has been taken from Toba is clear from the absence of a sign for the vowel E, which ought to have been called an U because the E so often represents this vowel in Toba, Dairi Tubi, rather than an U. In however the religion of the Dairi-speaking people might have been derived from the Toba people must be investigated by some who will be able to travel to the Dairi-speaking region. The Dairi-speaking people with whom I have come into contact affirm that their culture is that of the Toba Batak, and to judge from some Sanskrit words which are usual in Dairi, credence must be given to this belief for the time being. For example, the Batak in agony of which Dairi would have made the Batak in agony, Dairi J14, had he not borrowed them from Toba. Words that are not Sanskrit also appear to have been borrowed igi, kaliki, of which Dairi has turned the ha of halihi from ha-li 27 to with it into a k Dairi, despite the fact that the ha would be in complete agreement with the rules of the language Dairi 11b. The same thing has happened to Kechur 10 ops, which ought to have been Kechakur, because they reproduces an ha which has been dropped in Hasiok after the E with K. With K, tampak sumpah antidote for a curse, as the name of a fruit used for cleansing the hair is so peculiar because here sumpah is the translation of bura in tampak bura, which in Toba now means a curse. When this name was given to the fruit, the word must still have been formed dictionary under bura. With regard to Mandarin, it is clear that Toba at the least must have adopted its script, because Toba cannot pronounce nya, though it appears in the alphabet. The pronunciation of Mandarin agrees with that of Toba in some aspects, for example, in having with and her, where Malay, Javanese, or Delhi have occurred. On the other hand, it demonstrates marked deviation in having a chi and in some Mandaling being able to mention an nasal as exclusive before an edge consonant. As not and some Mandaling at present, they must regard it as a languages which have become so thoroughly mixed with Toba that only a few traces remain of the language of the original inhabitants of the Mandarin language area, of which the Luba and Ulu are the representatives. When it is remembered that ends in Toba, give when it is remembered that SH and NS in Toba give the S in pronunciation and NGH gives Kaka, it's evident that, for example, the following words come from the following M from Toba. Hatsit in Toba is Anchit in is Anchit. Manchit instead of Hanchit Mandaling B2D. In some Mandaling, Toba spells the word Hatsit because an S also gives TS. Basir in Toba is Bacik in Mandaling in Toba. Spells is Basir from the same reason as the applicable to Hasid. Both these words could, however, just as well have been spelled Hasid and Basir in order to reproduce the pronunciation, for Hasid and Basir also give Hasid and Basir. These words could not but become Hasid and Basir with a people to whom TS would be disagreeable. They would have had to make an entity of it but using NT spelled NS instead of the S spelled as the basic sound from which these words have arisen cannot be made to agree with that in other related words. For example, in Hachit and Bachir, the basic sounds are Chit and Chir, and this cannot be associated with the Bachir with the basic sound in the Bakir. In Bakir spelled Bangkir, which is pronounced Bangkir in Mandeng and in Bahir. In Bashir, on the other hand, there is basic sound of all the words, which have most the same meaning, i.e. Bahir, Banghir, and Bashir, the basic sound common to them being Hir. This also applies to Hasid, which, when spelled Hasid, give Hach in Mandarin because Chit cannot be brought into agreement with the basic sound Hit of, for example, Sahid, Malay, Sakit. The word Hitsat, Akad, and Utsat, which agree in their basic meaning, are at present where spelled Hinsat, Anghat, and Unsat in Mandaling are pronounced in Asinchat, Angkat, and Unchat. So, in their spelling, and a similar basic sound, Sat, occurs twice and had once cut in the Malay Angkat. Here, therefore, one must turn again to the pronunciation in Toba and postulate an earlier spelling, his hat, anghat, and ushat, in order to establish a basic sound, i.e. hat, also in Borhat. It is safe to state that the former times the pronunciation of Toba was more in agreement with the etymological spelling CF 3015, not 1, so that husus and hisis were so pronounced. The basic sound could easily be discovered in that other pronunciation, hus, kus in diary, his, kis in diary, kis and Malay kikis. Whereas the present-day pronunciation husus and hitsis conceals that. The newer pronunciation must, however, have already been common when the Toba people conquered the Mandaling area, because in Mandaling his hat and Hasid should have become Hiskat and Haskit, not Hinchat and Hajit, which is the present-day Malay pronunciation. The TS is not known in a number of sister languages, such as Javanese and Malay, so that the original population of Manding language area, which is clear from agrees with that of Javanese and Malay, had to change the TS and in chip, then TS and Ch and in chip. The southerly part of Batak country was originally inhabited by a Malay-speaking people. It is also apparent from the number of Mentawai and Malay words in Mandailing with a pronunciation that does not hold good of Mentawai, but is still usual in Malay. To take Ungas as an example, had this word been taken direct from Mentawai Unge C3011 not 1, it would have been Unge sis Burunge Barunge. Other examples are far from Malay Paha, which is Pao in Mentawai and in Mandailing Ra, as the name of the territory called Rao, which according to 17.2 must have come from Rao and under no circumstances can have come from Mentawai Rao and Tobat, which is in the Malay Toba and not the Mandailing Tobek, C33 note 2. From such spellings in Toba as Hasid and Banghir etc., where contrary to its noun pronunciation, it places another consonant before an H consonant, the conclusion can safely be drawn that it was from the east to the medium-speaking people must also have mixed with the conquered. Otherwise, how can one explain the fact that Toba, notwithstanding its inability to pronounce a ch, does have a j? In fact, the blunt homogam of ches and jes, which is still the case of in Malagasy. In view of the marked agreement of the pronunciation of Batak with that of Malagasy, it is not improbable that earlier Batak had also had a desert. Following are examples of this country, and has representative of Ka as well, Igi, Aku, Ahu, Malay, Javanese, etc. A Ka in Toba, Ka 10 and 11, where Malay, Javanese has Igi, Tuhu, a tripod, Tungku, Wakuada, Bangkuang. The development of a Ka because of preceding closer from Ha, Mandailing B 1. Igi Wurun ku haka from Wurun na Burung Malay and Ha haka Hak Toba. The absence of the semi-vowel G, which represented by Z, Igi Hazu Kayu Malay, Salah Sada and Salayan Malay from Saleh. C, where elsewhere there is T, CF dari di 3 Sinzo, Tinjo Malay, Tindo Toba, Futsi Putih, Malay Sindri Tindi Malay, and the development of this from S because of preceding closer Gigi Lalat Sarura from Lalana Sarutra. The changing of a closing K with a closing K to Ha before a suffix beginning with a vowel CF10 Igi Irahina from Iraka, the final almost mute and inna suffix.